So I'm going to leave it in linked below. This is Mr. Roland Martin if you want to see the full video of the committee hearing of the global threat. Basically, the thread that was just found between the intelligence committee and how they were using Signal instead of using the proper terms of communication that politicians of the White House are supposed to use. They're using the same software that a civilian would use over here in America when somebody gets chewed up or chewed out, meaning that you've done wrong, so someone has to say something to you. You get chewed up, you're getting chewed out. So basically, this is Mr. John Ratcliffe, and yeah, I didn't do any research on him. This is me being introduced to Mr. Ratcliffe before doing any type of, background information on him. But Mr. Bennett, this is the Senate of Denver about to go in on him.
Whether you are the CIA director, okay, this has happened. We know it's happened. Did Jeff Goldberg
we know it happened.
Did a hoax that allowed him to become part of this Signal thread?
A hoax is like they're trying to help
Please
him out.
answer the question. You don't insult the intelligence of the American people. Did he invite himself to the Signal thread?
I don't know how he was invited.
Denver, Colorado.
But clearly not added. Clearly it was. So the American.
One of the people invited them there. You have to invite people there. They don't sneak their way into the Signal thread. Someone tagged them in there.
Invited, but clearly
not added. Clearly it was. Finish your sentence, please.
Clearly he was added to the Signal group. Your question is,
you don't know
clearly,
that the president's national security advisor invited him to join the Signal thread. Everybody in America knows that. Does the CIA director not know that?
You're the director, like you're in charge of this, and you don't know how a journalist got into the thread. So I mean, in my opinion, I don't feel that this was a leak. A leak means that people accidentally let this information out. I believe y'all purposely tagged that person, because bullies like to brag about what they're going to do next, whether it's right or wrong. And this cabinet is a cabinet full of bullies. They don't know how to do the job. They're not real politicians. They don't know how to do what they're doing.
Order added, especially one that the Secretary of Defense says is deceitful, highly discredited, a so-called journalist who's made a profession of peddling hoaxes over and over again. Is your testimony that it was appropriate that he was added to this Signal thread?
No, of course not. And
why did you not call?
Hold on, Senator.
You're
mischaracterizing my testimony.
You answered the question.
He said P added him.
Let me ask you. When he was added to the thread, you're the CIA director. Why didn't...
Basically, they don't want to tell the truth of how the journalist was added to the thread, but everybody already knows.
You call out...
It's already out there.
...that he was present on the Signal thread.
I don't know if you use Signal messaging app.
I do. Not for classified information, not for targeting,
well, neither
not
do I,
for
Senator.
anything remote.
Neither do I, Senator.
Well, that's what your testimony is today.
It absolutely is not, Senator. Were you not listening at the beginning?
No.
When I said that I was using it as permitted, it is permissible
I
to
agree
use.
That's your testimony.
Yeah.
I agree that's your testimony. You asked me if I use it.
It is permissible to use. First of all, everybody knows that the people who work within the White House are not allowed to use this, any type of civilian means of communication. They know that. We know that.
And I said, not for targeting, not for classified information.
And I said, I don't either.
I also know Jeff Goldberg. I don't use it to communicate with him.
Mm-hmm.
But you thought it was appropriate. By the way, I think he's one of the more outstanding journalists in America. But I'm shocked to find him on a thread that he's reading in the parking lot of a grocery store in Washington, D.C. And your testimony as the director of the CIA is that it's totally appropriate.
No.
Is it appropriate?
The way he was reading this shit. Isn't that the way you're supposed to be finding out, man?
No, the director, that is not what I... Okay, did I say it was... Please. When did I use the word appropriate?
Well,
you just said it,
please.
Well, I didn't.
Is it appropriate?
It's not, Senator. Were you not listening at the beginning?
No.
When I said that I was using it as permitted, it is permissible
I
to
agree
use.
that's your testimony.
Yeah.
It's permissible to use, which is another word of saying that it's appropriate. Let's go next.
I agree that Washington, D.C., and your testimony as the director of the CIA is that it's totally appropriate.
No.
Is it appropriate
No,
that the
director,
president...
that is
He said it's totally fine.
not what I...
Okay,
when did
go
I say
ahead,
it was?
please.
When did I use the word appropriate?
Well, go ahead, please.
I don't care, man. See, this is when it starts getting technical. I did not use that exact word. Another thing that y'all notice when you watch the hearing is they'll say, "I do not recall. I do not recall." That's a Trump move. That's what Trump says. That's what you learn from Trump. when you can't tell the truth and you can't continue to lie because you're being busted. I do not recall. I did not say that exact word.
Well, I didn't.
That everybody in America...
So clearly,
there's nothing to
Senator...
see here is what your testimony is.
No,
Yeah.
I never said
This is
that.
just a normal day at the CIA where we chat about this kind of stuff over Signal. In fact, it's so normal that the last administration left it here for us. That's your testimony today.
That's your testimony.
No, that's
Senator.
not my testimony. That's what you said.
I didn't say any of those things that you just related,
I
Senator.
heard you say it. We'll let the American people decide. Let me ask you one thing.
Hold up, stop. Hold up, I'm rewatching this. I didn't see that the first time. I feel like this man right now. Ooh, you gotta call life alert. I'm finna fall out. Okay, look, none of this stuff is funny. It's not a joke. This is not a comedy that I'm reacting to. This is real life, man. You gotta call life alert. Y'all remember life alert? When you hit the button, cause I'm falling out. I'm about to faint. I'm falling out. I'm laughing. I'm flabbergasted. I'm shocked. I can't believe these motherfuckers. They really got the audacity to lie when we got you all on the screenshots, blown up, everything. Hit the button, man. Call life alert. Y'all got to pick me up, bro.
Did you know that the president's Middle East advisor was in Moscow on this thread while you were, as director of the CIA, participating in this thread? Were you aware of that? Are you aware of that today?
I'm not aware of that
This
today.
sloppiness, this incompetence, this disrespect for our intelligence agencies and the personnel who work for them is entirely unacceptable. It's an embarrassment.
Senator,
You need to do better. You need to do better. Thank you. I'm being gavelled by the chairman, and I apologize for going over my time.
Senator Young.
You represent a lot of American people. You represent more people besides just Denver. And I appreciate it. I'm so thankful. I'm glad he said it. Now we're finna get to my senator. This is why I voted for the senators that I voted for. Reverend Raphael Warnock. And here we're looking at John Ossoff, okay? Because the senators represent a certain demographic. They represent, like, if we were up there and if we wanted to say something, this is how we want to say it. And this is what we will want to be said. And honestly, he could say, he says everything just wonderfully. First of all, Mr. John Ossoff is a Southern gentleman. He is the perfect example of a Southern gentleman.
And thank you all for joining us and for your...
See, look right there. I know I'm kind of quick for you, but before we even started, he said thank you, okay? So that's psychological. Did you know that? That's psychological for before we start, I want your ears to be nice and open, okay? Because I'm finna put some complaints in there.
service, just to make sure I understand some of the basics here. So Director Ratcliffe,
He's so quick. Just to make sure I understand what the fuck is going on here. That's how we do in Atlanta. Make sure I'm on the same page, okay? Because you finna hear it.
were a member of the... Senator Ossoff. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you all for joining us and for your service. Just to make sure I understand some of the basics here. So Director Ratcliffe, you were a member of the Houthi PC small group signal chain, correct?
I was.
Yeah, and so were the vice president.
That's psychological. I mean, I'm not saying that he's doing any psychological tactics on purpose, but I'm just saying that usually when you're doing an information gathering session and you want to get the truth out of this person and you want them to drop any guards of lying. The first thing you're going to do is ask simple questions that are going to be yes, yes, yes. So this person can come out with easy yeses. Now, you can get people to do admissions, but also, most of all, you can get people to admit to the truth very easily while having their guard down.
Secretaries of State and Defense, the National Security Advisor, and Ms. Gabbard, correct?
I believe so. I don't have a list of who was invited.
First, we gotta make sure of everybody in their title. You know who you are and you know what you're doing, right? Correct. Let me see. He said correct.
Secretaries of State and Defense, the National Security Advisor, and Ms. Gabbard, correct?
I believe so. I don't have a list of who was invited to be on.
And so.
Don't get confused. He said, yes, I believe so. Yes. They be asking yes or no questions. These people can't do that. They can't be answering the yes or no questions, especially when you're lying. So they're going to say, yes, but, blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. Don't get confused. Blah, 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 blah. We don't get confused, so you don't get confused. By the yes, blah, 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 blah. Okay, we heard the yes. That's all we need to know.
Was National Political Jeffrey Goldberg, correct?
I don't know that.
Yes, you do.
I don't know Jeffrey Goldberg, and I've already testified. I don't know whether or how he was added.
Okay, well, he was a member of the signal chain, and the discussion included the Vice President's private opinion on the wisdom of proposed U.S. strikes in Yemen, correct?
Yes, you do.
I don't recall.
Vance, quote, I think we are making a mistake. I am not sure the president is aware of how inconsistent this is with his message on Europe right now. There was a strong argument for delaying this a month.
He reading the thread, y'all. He from the South. Texas, Georgia, we do this shit. We're going to come up with the receipts. Just like Jasmine Crockett did. And they blown up. You see him right there. You see him right there. They blown up, okay? We went on the computer. We blew that shit up and we printed it out so we could see nice and legible. And just in case I need to show you your own fucking shit.
You don't recall?
I don't. As you
don't recall seeing that?
Read that? I don't.
It included the private opinions of the Secretary of Defense on the timing of strikes in Yemen, correct?
I don't recall.
Director Ratcliffe, surely you prepared for this hearing today. You were part of a group of principals.
I'm finna fall out. Get me life alert. Get me life alert. Surely you prepared for this hearing today. Surely you know what the fuck going on, right? That's what that means in the South.
Today, you were part of a group of principals, senior echelons of the U.S. government, in now a widely publicized breach of sensitive information. You don't recall whether the vice president opined on the wisdom of the strikes? That's your testimony today under oath?
In that setting, I don't recall.
In that setting?
Here's what Secretary Hegseth said, quote, waiting a few weeks or months.
It's killing me. Bruh, all you gotta do is just pull your phone back up. Did you delete it? Don't worry. They already contacted Signal. They finna go through their server. Because that stuff about, encrypted, that it's encrypted and you don't see it anymore. You don't see it anymore. And the other person doesn't have to see it anymore. Did you know in Signal that the person can hit a setting that if the other person on the other end deletes the message, that you can still see it? But the thing to do with these people were better off just sending text messages, like a long ass text thread, because I mean, even though they could have just went to the provider and go get this information that they need to do, but you could still do that with all these other people. The regular citizen doesn't know that people that Snapchat, these apps like that, and Signal, Telegram, and all that, all your messages, videos, and all that still get sent to a server. So, like, if the government, whoever, FBI, if they need to go to these companies and see what you've been saying, they still can.
Does not fundamentally change the calculus.
That's why these people are getting in trouble. And they're supposed to be using their top secret methods of communication, especially the things that they're talking about.
Two immediate risks on waiting. One, this leaks and we look indecisive. Two, Israel takes an action first or Gaza ceasefire falls apart and we don't get to start this on our own terms. Your testimony is you don't recall the Secretary of Defense sending that message or reading it?
I recall there being an exchange. I don't recall the specifics as you're reading it.
Well, let's put it this way, Director Ratcliffe, a discussion by senior U.S. officials on the timing and risks.
You don't recall, I'm finna joke real quick. You don't recall hearting that message? That piece head chef sent you? You don't recall?
Of a proposed military campaign.
That's what Trump said, y'all. That's how we got out all his shit. I don't recall. He recall. Y'all recall. He recall everything.
And disagreements between the president and the vice president about U.S. plans and intentions would be of obvious interest to foreign intelligence services. Would it not?
Yes.
And they were discussing the timing of sending U.S. air crews into enemy airspace where they faced an air defense threat, correct?
I'm going to, Senator, defer to the other principles that you're referring to about what the meaning and the context of
They're
what they
talking
were
about
auditing.
the timing of U.S. airstrikes, correct?
Yes.
Yes, and therefore...
I'm finna fall out. I'm laughing. I'm laughing in my mind. Earlier, I was really falling out everywhere. He like, can you refer to what you mean? What you talking about? What you talking about? Because you getting caught as fuck.
The other principles that you're referring to about what the meaning and the context of what they were auditing.
They're talking about the timing of U.S. airstrikes, correct?
They trying to throw bombs.
Yes.
Yes, and therefore the timing of sending U.S. air crews into hostile...
I apologize. I can't get over that. That's what we do in Atlanta, okay? When somebody knows that you're lying, and we just... Okay, now we looking, and we like... Come out. Correct? You finna talk?
To the other principles that you're referring to about what the meaning and the context of what they were auditing.
They're talking about the timing of U.S. airstrikes, correct?
Yes.
Yes, and therefore the timing of sending U.S. air crews into hostile airspace, correct?
Yes.
And therefore the time period during which enemy air defenses could target U.S. air crews flying in enemy airspace, correct?
I don't know that.
You do know that. Let me ask this question, General Hawk. You lead America's signals intelligence collection.
Oh my God. Yes. I don't know that. You do know that. This is why I voted for this man.
Would the private deliberation of foreign senior officials about the wisdom and timing of potential military action be a collection priority for you and the U.S. intelligence community?
Senator, it's our job to do indications and warning for both the plans and intentions of adversary leaders and for military commanders.
Y'all know I'm silly, but this man got a suit on, okay? Y'all was talking about Zelensky. My man Zelensky. Y'all talking about him. He got a suit on.
And would not information about the timing of airstrikes allow a military to pre-position or cue air defense systems to shoot down enemy aircraft?
No offense, but don't you think what the fuck y'all talking about gonna get us bombed out the sky? Oh my God, don't you think some other people gonna see what the fuck you talking about? And they gonna get mad at you and come over here and start doing some bang banging and shit? Don't you think that? And then also, like what he just said is like, don't you think that somebody would infiltrate your plan? Basically, like, y'all not even be smart with what the fuck y'all doing.
I think, Senator, from our perspective, any advance warning is something that we certainly are trying to protect.
Yeah. Director Ratcliffe, this was a huge mistake, correct?
Warning is something that we certainly are trying to protect.
Yeah. Director Ratcliffe, this was a huge...
Oh my God, that went so quick. No. Did you see that? That went so quick. He was done talking. And now he back to Radcliffe. He was done. So this is a huge mistake.
Mistake. Correct?
No.
A national political...
Hold on.
No, you
Let me answer.
No, Director Ratcliffe. I asked you a
no.
yes or no question, and now you...
First of all, John Ossoff gotta talk to him like he's 7 years old, okay? And I'm finna get quiet and listen. Even the devil quiet right now. You better listen to the Southern man. It's and another thing before we start. It's so rude that he's talking over John, because John's talking. He's supposed to be listening, and he's gonna interrupt him in the middle. But John is gonna continue to. Mr. Ossoff is gonna continue to talk because that's the way it should be. Go ahead and finish your sentence. But he's so Southern. Watch this.
A national political...
Hold on.
No, you
Let me answer.
No, Director Ratcliffe. I asked you a
say
yes or no question, and now you'll hold on. A national political reporter...
You can characterize it how you want.
...was made privy
The White
to
House has
sensitive
made
information
clear
about
that there
imminent
was an
military
inadvertent
operations against a
mistake,
foreign terrorist
inadvertent
organization.
mistake of adding a reporter.
And that wasn't a huge
to a
mistake?
seal.
That wasn't a huge mistake?
Well, I think they
This
characterize it
is
as
an
a mistake.
embarrassment. This is utterly unprofessional. There's been no apology. There has been no recognition of the gravity of this error. And by the way, we will get the full transcript of this chain, and your testimony will be measured carefully against its content. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I thank the witnesses again for their appearance today. I sense the vice chairman has something to add.
I do.
So I will recognize him briefly.
Thank the witnesses. But what you're saying doesn't make sense on the.
I think Senator
No, that went quick.
from
That went quick. Oh my god, I gotta watch that over again. That shit went quick.
our perspective, any advance warning is something that we certainly are trying to protect.
Director Ratcliffe, this was a huge mistake, correct?
Back to you.
No.
A national
Hold
political...
on.
No, you
Let me
hold
answer.
on. No, Director
Answer the
Ratcliffe,
reason
I
I
asked
say
you a yes
no.
or no question, and now you hold on. A national political report...
I asked you a yes or no question, and now you hold on. Oh my god. They like, who is this Southern man? I voted for him. I'm so proud of him.
Order
You can characterize it how you want.
was made privy
The White
to
House has
sensitive
made
information
clear
about
that there
imminent
was an
military
inadvertent
operations against a
mistake,
foreign terrorist
Inadvertent
organization.
mistake of adding a reporter.
And that wasn't a huge
to a
mistake.
seal.
That wasn't a huge mistake.
Well, I think
Ratcliffe
they
can't
characterize
This
it
is
as
an
a mistake.
embarrassment. This is utterly unprofessional.
This is an embarrassment. He got quiet. He embarrassed.
There's been no apology. There has
And you need to be ashamed of yourself, bro.
been no recognition of the gravity of this error. And by the way, we will get the full transcript of this chain,
Told you.
and your testimony will be measured carefully against its content. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Ooh, see, you gotta get him a go.
I thank the witnesses again for their appearance today.
Look, yo, ooh.
I sense the
ooh,
vice chairman
ooh.
has something to add.
Yo, you ever been at school or you got siblings and shit, and someone just got in real bad trouble by the teacher or the administrator had to come in and tell, or another teacher had to come in and tell y'all out the badass class, or your parents is talking about they disappointed in your ass and shit, and your other siblings, like, everybody laughing. I think even Mr. Cotton trying to hold it.
I do.
So I will recognize him briefly.
Well, again, I thank the witnesses. But what you're saying doesn't make sense on the face of it. Everybody knows. At least, Director.
Yo, go check out the full video in the description below and educate yourself. Okay, talk to you some more. Bye.